Hey, what's going on?
Okay, so let's talk about, I guess we'll do big ideas first, because I think that's ultimately how we'll have a successful Amazon business compared to kind of these one-off things.
Yeah.
So I got my first sample in from China this week. It was those soap molds, and both of them look good. And so I'm not sure, I'll have to run the numbers, but I think the numbers look bad on the 6-count rectangle soap mold. That's one of the better sellers, unfortunately. I'm just not sure that we can ship it in from Amazon and FBA it, or even ship it from my house competitively, like price competitively, compared to people just shipping directly from China. And there is someone who is FBAing it. But to your point, I think it should look good if we did a 2-pack, so multi-pack.
Yeah. Yeah, let me go to Amazon and just review that item again. So that's just like soap mold.
Yeah, soap mold.
So this is the Hy-Vee one. $6.88. Let's see. Alright. So if you sell this thing for $6.88, you're going to make, just if you, not including like cost of goods or anything, if you sold it for $6.88, you're going to make $3.26 income. That doesn't include like getting it to Amazon or the cost of goods. So like what's the landed cost to get it into the US?
I don't have that at the top of my head, but I believe it was like $1.40.
Is that like, you're thinking that's
per
like
unit.
getting it to your door? Or that's,
Now,
is that like cost just for the item without shipping?
That's the FOB price. What is that?
Okay.
I guess, is that the landed cost? Or that doesn't include like customs and things like that?
Yeah, I mean, so one thing that we're going to have to get really good at is kind of bringing in containers and saving money on shipping. And so once we get to, a bigger level, then we can save money on shipping and things like that. But, let's see. I'm actually just looking at this on Wikipedia. So FOB is used in non-containerized sea freight and stands for free on board.
Okay.
So not sure exactly. I mean, that's them telling you some number. Like what it actually ends up being is something completely different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So how much did the sample cost to get sent in?
$35. They did give me a price with air shipping it.
They did or they didn't?
They did.
What was that?
I would have to look it up. I think
how many units were they going to airship?
I think I could get 600 units in for like, the air shipping would be like $130 or something like that.
Plus $1.40 per unit?
Yeah.
So let's see. Let's just do the math on that real quick. Calculator. So 600 times 140 is $840 plus 130 for air shipping.
Yeah.
When I've gotten airship stuff in, it just comes to my door and it's like done. I don't have to pay anything for it. So that's like most of the stuff I've done. I've just done like smaller things just for us testing. Now like Jordan has done obviously a lot bigger stuff and getting like pallets and things like that brought in. And usually though, like at the end of the day, all you're really concerned about is like, what's the landed price to my door? And we can get with Shapiro, and I kind of want to have a phone call with them or have you do a phone call with them. And they'll really educate you on all of this, like customs, importing, getting stuff in. And ideally, once we're bringing enough stuff, and I think they have like 100 kilogram or something. I'm not sure if it's pounds or kilograms. So they have like a certain minimum where they become viable. But it's, once we reach that weight, then you can basically have Shapiro, they will pick up the stuff in China, get it through customs for you, and if you do it right, you can basically have them take that all the way to Amazon, and you don't even touch it. So that's ideally what we want to have happen. The problem with that is, like, you have to buy in quantities enough or work with the factory enough to get them to put your FN SKU on the box and kind of have everything packaged up in a way that it's easy for Shapiro to get it to the FBA fulfillment centers. Because what they have to do is you actually create the shipments on your Amazon account, and then it parses them out and it says, okay, you need to send 200 units. Like let's say you're importing 1,000 units, it'll say, like, you need to send 200 units here, 200 units, to this fulfillment center, another 200 to this one. And so then what Shapiro does is they, like, get the container, break it out of the shipping container, and they can, like, bundle your stuff with other people's, freight and everything, because that's what they do. But they'll break it out and then put, some stuff they'll take it wherever it needs to go, and they get it in the Amazon fulfillment, and you don't even touch it. And so that's really where we want to get to. But I think in the beginning, you want to have stuff come to your house, even if we're not making as much money or even losing a little bit of money, because number one, you want to check the quality of the product from your supplier. So when they send you the one sample, what's going to be, is that going to be the same quality as when you get the 600 units shipped in? Type thing. So check that. And then also, how many units do we have to order to make it viable for a larger, like, to have Shapiro do all that for us, I guess is what I'm saying. So anyway, 970 divided by 600 is $1.61 a unit. So I'd say, I bet you could ship all those to FBA, like, really cheap. So you could probably make, I think getting them into FBA, like, if you had Shapiro do it for you, it wouldn't be that much more. It might even be cheaper. You could probably get them into FBA for definitely less than $2. And your net income is $3.26. So if your cost of goods is $2, like, landed after, like, into the U.S. after paying all your fees, that gives you $1.26 profit. And let's say your landed cost is $2 into FBA. So $1.26 divided by 2 is 63% profit margin on there. So that's not a bad profit margin. The problem is that it's such a small amount of money that if anybody, like, if the other guy, you're going to make your own listing, so it doesn't really matter. But let's say that we start challenging the number one guy, and then he wants to lower his price to $6.20 or something like that. And, we can't get into a price war that way. But I definitely think the 2-pack, like, makes a lot more margin, because, I don't know, let's see, what if we sold a 2-pack for, let's see, what were you thinking about selling a 2-pack for?
Like, between $10 and $11.50. So there's some, right now you can buy 2 of those for $13, right?
Right.
So it's just got to be a good enough discount that people would buy the 2-pack.
Yeah. So let's say you sell for $9.99. Just, like, be conservative and go on the low end. That's $5.90 profit. So $6 almost after, and then if it costs us $2 a piece to get them into the U.S., that means there's $2 left over. I think that may be worth pursuing. I would like to see something with a little bit healthier margins, but it shouldn't be that hard. Let's see, is there a bunch of other people selling these? Have you ordered one of these from Amazon yet?
I haven't.
The ones that
I'll
were,
do that.
yeah, go ahead and order one and just look and see, like, just look at it and make sure our quality is as good as theirs.
Okay.
I mean, I think it's probably worth spending $600 to $900
Okay.
on. I don't know. Do you have any other really good ideas?
So, I mean, the other soap mold is maybe an even better option, just because that one I think costs 22 cents. That's the negotiated price. It's much smaller, and I think people are selling it for like $1.75, but they're shipping directly from China. So there's no one FBAing it, but I think there is an opportunity to just make a multi-pack. So sell like a 6-pack or a 10-pack. And then there's no one doing that. And from reading the comments, it sounds like a lot of people have questions about ordering more than one at a time. So there could be a customer base out there who would be willing to buy a multi-pack.
I like that because it says estimated delivery date February 10th through 27th.
Right, yeah.
So
and
you know that people that are buying, people will pay a little bit more to. I think actually, even if you were like, if you could source this exact product and come in at $6, Amazon would give you the buy box. Now we want to make our own because we don't want a bunch of people coming in. I really feel like, I mean, I don't know, I could be wrong, but you're talking about like if you're an FBA versus China, like, so FBA takes precedence over US, like just like merchant fulfilled, like almost, always within like a 10 to 20%, sometimes 5%, depending on the category. But if you're FBA, you get a lot more. But, China, I mean, these people, you're talking about estimated delivery date February 10th through 27th, and that's just not the experience that Amazon want. That's not what they that's not the buyer experience they want. They want a buyer experience where it's, item is shipped out and at somebody's house in 2 days, not 3 weeks or whatever, or a month. So I think there's a lot of opportunity there.
I have to rerun the numbers, but just because I've learned more about shipping and getting into Amazon, and these things are so light. I mean, even if I was shipping it in a 50-pound box, you could probably get like maybe like 500 of them in a 50-pound box. So getting them into FBA wouldn't be terribly expensive. So, but
what's the cost to send your 50-pound box of Barney butter that you sent in?
Yeah, it was like $24.08 for a 50-pound box.
Yeah, so if you could ship 500 of those into FBA for
$24,
for like 25. Let's say just easy math, $25. That's let's see, what is that? 25. On the calculator, I'm slow on calculators. It's like 5 cents a unit into FBA, and I'd have to imagine that it would, like, even to get them into the. Did you get a cost on shipping those into the U.S.?
It was kind of bundled in with the other one, but I'll get a quote on that. But
I would imagine that like a big box of those also would be like only $100 or something.
Right.
Or
so
less.
If I can get 500 of those, to say, I'll get a quote today. And
let's get like the exact numbers on this. I would think that you could fit. I mean, I would think that if 600 of the big soap molds was $130 or whatever, I would think that you should be able to get like 1,500 or something. And those are 22 cents a piece.
Yeah.
So let's just go down that line of logic and let's just assume, let's just guess, and we'll figure out.
You couldn't FBA a one-off of those, right? Because it's like $2 just for them to pick it.
No, yeah. So if you were trying to sell those for, so I think you could actually. I don't think it would be. What I would do if I was you is make a listing. I'm not sure exactly how I would do this, but I would think I would make a listing that's a multi-pack, but on that listing I would have some variations that were like singles as well, but I would sell the singles for a lot more than $1.75 a piece.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So, like, I think, and you need to order some of these too. Did you get a sample of the 100% handmade molds?
Yeah. They came in the same package.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So what I would do, like, let's say you sell the handmade ones. Let's just change that, Ethan, just to make it right. I'm just gonna look and see. Do-do-do-do. All right. Give the exact fees on this. Oh, this product's never even been FBA'd before because it doesn't even have their dimensions in Amazon. So I'll just use the other product. Obviously, because people only ship it from China.
Right.
It's crazy. Like our shipping is so cheap from China. We've made such a bad deal with them. All right. I'm gonna do. Let's just say $5. So at $5, you're making $1.41 profit or net income.
Which would be fantastic for that's selling a one-off of those?
Yeah, a one-off if you can sell it for $5 or $4.99 or something like that and make $1.40. That doesn't include your cost of goods. So, I mean, I'm thinking, like, if we went down the line that you could get, if you just air freighted some of those in,
Okay.
and let's say you got 1,500 of them for $130, and that's 8.6 cents a unit. So let's say, what do we say it was, like 5 cents to get them to FBA, and then 8.6 cents. So let's say it's cost you 22 cents a unit plus 15 cents to get them into FBA. So let's see. So let's just say 15 cents. So that's 37 cents a unit, and your net income would be $1.41. So that's over. I mean, that's a huge margin,
Right
there. So yeah, I don't think that's bad.
Yeah,
I don't think
the
that's
better
bad.
opportunities with I think the better opportunities with that one, but the other one could still be good.
Yeah, the only thing that is really to be aware of there is that this item is the multi-pack is a 936 rank in Home and Garden. I think that was, or was it Arts and Crafts? Which I'll get you some numbers on. It's in Home and Kitchen, 936 in Home and Kitchen.
Okay.
And the 100% handmade is in a completely different category, arts and crafts and sewing, which I don't know if I have much good data on that one, but I'm imagining that just based on this one being position 1 and this one being position 5, there's a huge difference in sales velocity. So even though the soap molds the handmade ones are a lot better margin, it's gonna take a long time to sell through those, I would imagine.
Yeah.
We can actually watch the velocity, the sales velocity on the first soap mold and kind of get an idea of how many they're selling through. And that gives us two things. Like, one, it lets us know if we are able to achieve that position, how fast we'll be able to run through our product. but it also lets us know how hard it's going to be to beat them.
Okay.
As well, because, just because we put this up on Amazon doesn't mean that we're going to have that number one rank right away. We have to actually make that happen.
Right.
So,
speaking of watching sales velocity, I've been tracking the Walking Dead pint classes.
Yeah.
And they just haven't been selling.
Okay.
And I'll keep watching them because the show is off air right now, and then it comes back on, I believe, in February. But there's kind of two big players, I would say, that sell them. It is a healthy margin, but it's just, hey, they just don't move fast enough.
Right. Let's see.
So I think I'm gonna pass. I think I'm gonna pass on that one for now.
Yeah, let me look at this one and see. So the guy who has this one soap mold in FBA has 193 units right now. The 6 soap mold.
Oh, okay.
So we can look at that and check that kind of at the end of the day and see how many he sold today or tomorrow or whatever. And if you see a big spike going up, that means he just replenished his inventory back into FBA. So we can kind of look at that and see if that's worth. I mean, because we're thinking like 600 units. If we do achieve that, how long do we want to hold on to that inventory? And these are things, I mean, right now we're just getting started. So eventually what's going to happen is we're going to have a lot of great products, and we're just going to have to look at the opportunity cost of each one of them and make the best decision for it. Right. But right now, since we don't have 100 things that we're selling, we can work with stuff that's not as good of a margin and maybe not as good of a maybe it's not going to move as fast.
Yeah, we're just exploring right now.
Yeah, we're just exploring. We'll get better stuff later. Okay, any other kind of long-term things that you're working on?
Okay, the other one is the matching tie and sock. And
yes.
Talking to the Tire Socks guys, one mistake that maybe they made or one risk is that you have to order like 4,000 pairs of socks from China, but you only have to order like 100 ties. So they have way more socks than they have ties. So one way I think around that, so we could test the concept since it's totally unproven, is I contacted Happy Socks, which they're not, I wouldn't call them a big brand or anything, but they definitely are a successful company, and all they make is socks, kind of these like bright patterned socks. And we can buy in much smaller quantities for about $4.50 a pair wholesale. So we could buy, they make you buy 8 SKUs, but we could just buy a small number of SKUs. And then I backtracked the people who make the ties for the tie bar, and we could order a minimum order of ties that match those socks, and then bundle them together and see how well they sell. So rather than having to order in 4,000 pairs of every sock, we can just order, spend a lot less money, test the idea. If the idea works, then we can feel more comfortable ordering larger shipments in.
Okay. Yeah, I like that idea.
And then it got me thinking of another idea. Because it's a Happy Sock, we'll be able to use that name in our listing, like a Happy Sock with a tie. Happy Sock doesn't make the tie, but you still kind of bring better value to that tie because it's paired with Happy Sock. So that also made me think, because I know, looking ahead, how we're trying to get more licensing stuff, and it'd be great, obviously, to have our own license. But other things we could do is just pair a licensed product with a non-licensed product, and and you kind of, that bundle kind of creates a value.
Sure.
So,
yeah, I mean, we basically make our own brand of ties, whatever we're going to call it, and then we bundle that with Happy Socks. So it's like Cool Ties and Happy Socks or something like that. And nobody can create that unique bundle except for us.
Right.
Because it's us. And so I mean Happy Socks got a 9,000, like the number one listing for Happy Socks has a 9,000 rank in clothing, so it's not horrible. Looks like there's nobody FBAing them right now, but it is definitely a brand. Do you feel like the Happy Sock kind of look is what you want to do for the tie and sock combos?
So they have some really bright socks, and then they have some more conservative socks, but definitely I think lean towards more I think the people that would wear the tie that matches your socks are the type of people that want you to notice. And so they're a little bit flashier than something maybe you or I would wear. Otherwise, like, you would never tell. Like, if your tie's not that bright and your socks aren't that bright,
I get you.
You can never tell.
So I think what we need to do is like start kind of like taking each one of these products, like the ones we're importing especially, and just like nailing down like a spreadsheet of all the cost and kind of coming up with at least some estimates of what we want to achieve velocity-wise, how long it's going to take us to, like, what kind of marketing effort it's going to take us to. So, like, for example, Happy Socks, the first one for the word Happy Socks is got 41 reviews, and there's only they have a 9,000 sales rank. You there?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's a 9,000 sales rank. So it would be pretty easy for us to actually rank probably on the first page of Google or on the first page of Amazon. It's not one of the first results for the word Happy Socks if we make a combo where we're actually selling Happy Socks. If that makes sense. Because it's not like such a in-demand keyword. Now, if we want to like rank for like men's socks or something like that, then that's going to be, or the word socks or whatever, dress socks or whatever we want, that's going to obviously be a lot harder to do. I mean, the number one thing for socks is a Hanes pack of crew socks, and it's got a rank of 120 in clothing. But if we can get Happy Socks on there, that might tell us something. So we can actually look at just what Happy Socks is selling and kind of give an idea of velocity there. But hopefully we can actually achieve, I don't think that Happy Socks and most of these brands actually that we're looking at kind of either partnering with and doing a bundle or making our own version of something, most of them, like even the soap molds, are not really doing very much to promote their brand on Amazon. Like all they're really doing is putting an item on there and hoping it sells, kind of thing. Right. And if it's a good item, it's starting to sell and it starts to pick up velocity, but it's happening really slow. But if we actually spend the energy to market our products on Amazon and get, good reviews and get the sales velocity up, then we'll start to rank for a lot more keywords and start to show up better in the categories and do really well. So.
Right.
Okay.
All right. So, I do have to run here, but
okay.
Just real quick. So I got some organic raisins and I got some organic prunes that I will be sending into FBA early next week. I also ordered poly bags, so that will reduce my cost on the Barney Butter stuff because I was putting it in the 963 box, which actually weighs a lot, and I'm guessing the person that boxed it that way is because they pallet ship it on a box.
Yeah.
So that's my assumption. With that, so I'm going to poly bag it so I got 12 in a box for like 46 pounds. Getting rid of that box, I should be able to get 15 into Amazon
awesome.
FBA. So And I'll make a
Awesome.
video around that. And then I'm thinking of doing snack shout on these organic prunes. So Amazon
Are they a new SKU?
So this is a new SKU. Amazon sells 6 for like $29, and so I want to sell a 3-pack for $10 cheaper. Although it's more expensive price per ounce wise, it sells,
Right.
that $10 barrier could help. But I think,
Are these a product that are like already branded with somebody else's brand name on them, not ours? Or
yeah, it's someone else's.
okay, so we can't like get them to make their own. Is it possible for them to put our name on something?
We could, if we ordered a large enough of any product, we could definitely get. I mean, the company that makes these, they just license the Newman's own name, and they specialize in private label. They make like all the private label raisins.
So I think what we should do, I think it'd be interesting to pursue. Eventually, we might end up like kind of narrowing ourselves down into a couple niches, right? So we might be like focused on food, or we might be focused on, arts and crafts or babies or whatever it is. But we'll pick a few verticals and kind of try to get good at those. I'm not saying that we have to limit ourselves to one thing, but as we get like more connections and more just knowledge, I guess, on a certain niche, then I think we can do really good things. So it'd be interesting to see what the pricing is on, like, how much we have to order to get our own name on something like that, even if it's not something we pursued today.
Yeah, I can ask them. There is one company I'm watching that's what they do. They're just a local organic farm, and they sell like a 5-pound bag of organic raisins for like $36, and they are selling a lot of them. And like, they're the exact same organic raisins that you can buy from Sunmade, things like that. But just because they have their own brand, and I kind of like their packaging. Obviously, they have a following, so it's definitely doable.
Yeah, so that might be an opportunity there. We can look at that. So Barney Butter first shipment like to FBA was just sent out. Like, has it got to FBA yet?
It hasn't gotten there. I noticed I made one mistake, and hopefully it doesn't hurt us. But I forgot to put the expiration date on the shipping box.
Oh, gotcha.
So I don't know what they're gonna do. But
it'll be all right.
You think it'll be all right? Like, the expiration date is on every single unit, but it's not on the outside.
I don't know if it'll be all right. I don't know if they're gonna take it, but it'll be all right either way, is what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's no big deal. They'll contact us and let us know.
Then I know Barney Butter is gonna raise their prices 20% in a month.
Okay, so it probably might be in our best interest to buy a bunch right before we do the price raise.
Right.
That's good news. That's good stuff to know.
Yeah. And
that's why having relationships is important. If you know that they're going to do that, then you can kind of plan ahead.
Right.
But you don't want to buy so much because the stuff does expire.
Right.
So
the dry fruit takes like a whole year and a half to expire. Barney Butter expires like in 10 months, 12 months.
So as long as we don't have more than 10 months supply, I guess we're fine. I'm going to try to get you, I'm working with the developers to get you, we're really working hard to get Scope kind of into a beta, and a lot of this information that will really help you make smart decisions is going to be in there. So hopefully once we get that into a beta, we can go through, I'll just probably teach you how to use it on a Google Hangout, and then we can show that to other people, but also, that'd be really beneficial for you to, it's not going to be like, it'll have some sales information in there, like overall, which is good. It's not going to be like as precise as putting stuff in your cart and changing the quantity, but it'll probably give you more data over a long period of time. And so you'll be able to get kind of sales numbers and it's a really easy way to kind of look at fees and all kinds of stuff like that. So, and then we're going to hopefully get some of the keyword stuff in there as well, which will help you. So it should be pretty interesting. It's also just, we have a catalog browser in there, so it's another way for you to kind of look at Amazon in a different way. So instead of going to Amazon.com and searching through products, you can actually use our interface. And we don't have every item in there yet, but we're trying to get more and more data in there.
Okay.
So you can kind of like look through a category and like sort by sales rank and go through like the top, 10,000 products. And one of the problems with people doing their own brands is they'll look to the like top 100 in a category and they'll find something that looks easy to produce or something that people are making in China, and then everybody will try to make that product. And what we want to do, I think, is kind of be a little bit more niche-y and not try to do things that are, especially when we're getting started, try to do things that are a little bit easier to do, because we don't need to try to create the number one bestseller that 100 other people are trying to recreate. We want to create, the 1,000th bestseller or whatever. And then once we get better at what we're doing and we're really good at it, then you can try to start creating the number one bestseller.
Okay.
Cool. Awesome.
All right.
I'll talk to you later, man.
All right. So I guess. Bye.
Bye.